fact, what you're about to see is a 2-minute clip of a hearing in Columbia where South Carolina Democratic Party first vice chair, Colleen Condon, who is an attorney, and many of her clients are, gay or transgender, and the topic was birth certificate changes. If you change your name or you change some other things, you can update your birth certificate. They want to be able to change gender as well in the birth certificate. So they had a hearing where Colleen made the case, and Billy Garrett had some opinions on that. And really what I want you to look at, first of all, this is a gentleman who's up for re-election next year, should he decide to run in this district. But the logic, this is what I want you to follow. I want you to pay close attention to Billy Garrett's words and see what logic he's trying to follow and realize he is there representing us right now with this logic. You ready?
Proposed Regulation 1111. I understand that they'll slow down on review of all of the DHEC regulations because of 1111. And there are lots of important things that are included in that. But specifically about 1111, those standards require a physical change of the sex. The treatment for the transition is complete. The change in sex is permanent. And then change in sex is made with the intent to change permanently for all purposes. This proposal is a high and difficult standard compared to what is required in most of the United States. Please vote this bill down and instead consider the DHEC Regulation 1111. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Let me ask you this question. In family court, we also have name changes, as you know. You give their name, also known as, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm about transparency, and I'm about also when we do title searches, for instance, and somebody's buying or selling property as a lawyer, I'm sure you understand that, even between husband and wife in a divorce case. I'm about transparency. So can anybody help me understand why we can't just put it whatever it is? If somebody's born as a male, wants to be a female, or a female wants to be a male, and that's the way they were born, to go ahead and say also known as, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, transparency, so we're in a position where everybody knows where everybody stands. I'm perfectly fine with what you've decided to do, and you should be protected in that. But from society's point of view, full transparency is that we need to make sure that everybody else knows when they're dealing with you. For instance, that officer, okay, that you said, you may come upon someone who looks like a beautifully attractive female, and then when they speak to you, you can tell that they're probably not. Okay, so I mean, again, that shouldn't make a difference to the police officer at all. But when his or her senses are real heightened and they're really watching when they're walking up to that car or whatever, and so when they actually look at it, then they can recognize why they can see the names and they can see the genders. I just don't see any problem with that. So this doesn't seem to do that. It allows for change. But don't you think we need to have it to where everybody knows about everything? So, that way everybody's protected.
Well, I'm not sure anybody needs to know my sexual organs except for my doctors and my intimate partners. However, Senator, I would actually say that DHEC has already addressed your concern. Okay. When my clients change their gender on the birth certificate, which is, it's very haphazard and very different from one court to the next. But the birth certificate, when changed, specifically now at the bottom, includes an asterisk and says amended first name, amended first or last name, amended gender field. That actually says sex field because actually your documents for the state of South Carolina all say sex, not gender. Okay,
and so you would object, though, to saying what the change was, whether it was male to female, female to male, or to trans or whatever. Would you object to that in that box?
It specifically it acknowledges change, and there are limited changes of what it could be changed from. Certainly, Your Honor.
I'm just saying that we
I'm not opposed to it noting that. I'd prefer it not. Okay. Because honestly, I don't think people need to know. Yes. And I certainly don't need clients to face, like they have in front of some family court judges, asking my clients what's in their pants. So certainly we need some laws on this, but we need laws having a clear way to address it and move forward, allowing birth certificate changes with appropriate notation in order to make sure the information is available as needed.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So just briefly, my takeaways. First of all, he raised an objection that Colleen Condon pointed out was already being done. Hey, can't we have some sort of notation? Yes, you have notation already. It's there. There's a little star that says amended or changed. Well, can't we say what it was changed from? Well, if it's listing that it says male, what are the options you could have changed it from? You know, so this is the deep legal mind of Senator Billy Garrett, but did you catch his primary concern? He's worried most about walking up to somebody he thought was an attractive female. That was his biggest concern, and going, whoa! He says, we need transparency. We need that attractive female to wear a sign around the neck saying this is what we really are, because I don't want to be caught up being attracted to somebody I don't want to be attracted to. That was his biggest complaint.